Howdy, y'all. Our warband is finally here. Now, we've talked about the Seraphon Warband a couple videos already, looking at their characters and things, but now we're actually able to pre-order the Warhammer Underworlds Warband for Seraphon. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know very much about Underworlds, but the cool thing is these warbands for that box game can be used in Age of Sigmar, and that's where we pick it up at. And so you can order these now. It looks like it's about $40. So they're up for pre-order right now. Comes with these 6 models, and we're going to look a little at the Warscroll that goes along with these models in this warband for Age of Sigmar. See if there's any use for it in our game. It is kind of nice that they do include some war scrolls for these war bands. Some of them become pretty useful in Age of Sigmar. Some of them really aren't ever played in Age of Sigmar. So let's see where the Starblood Stalkers line up. So first off, we're looking at the main troops of this warband. We've got 3 skinks and 1 chameleon skink in this warband. And so one is equipped with the javelin, one's with a dart pipe, one's with a bolt splitter, and then one is just a melee focused skink with the moonstone club. I think we've got 2 Celestite daggers and 2 moonstone clubs, a couple shields in here. So we have a mixture of weapons, and you see all those profiles here. A lot of these profiles are the same that we see in the normal troops that go with these stat lines. So like our Meteoric Javelin is the same stat line we see with the normal skink. Same for the Dart Pipe and the Chameleon skinks. And the same with the Bolt Spitter. For some reason, the Moonstone Club actually wounds on a 3-up instead of a 4-up. So these Starblood Stalkers have some hyped up Moonstone Clubs apparently. So some pretty basic profiles there. They kind of line up with what we've already got, but this does have some unique abilities. So let's read through the abilities real quick. Chameleon Ambush. Instead of setting up this unit and the 2 heroes, which we'll read about here in a second, you can place them to one side and say that they're hiding as reserve units. If you do so at the end of any of your movement phases, you can set this unit up and the 2 heroes on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from enemies, wholly within 9 inches of each other. Obviously, if they're not set up before the 4th battle round, they are slain. So this is an ambush that's native to their Warscroll. So that's pretty cool. We have an ambush on a Warscroll for the Chameleon Skinks. And so apparently this little Chameleon Skink in this warband is bringing all his buddies with him. And so they have an inbuilt ambush, deep strike, whatever you want to call it, here on the Warscroll, which is very useful in Age of Sigmar. Any kind of movement shenanigans you can get on a Warscroll is awesome. They also have Starbuckler. Add 1 of the save rolls for attacks while there's at least half of the models armed with Starbuckler. So you do have 2 shields coming into this, and so as long as you keep those 2 guys alive, they'll have a 5-up save for these 4 Starblood Stalkers instead of a 6-up. It's okay. It might save you a couple wounds here and there. Nothing to write home about, especially when you're only talking 4 models. So not that big a deal. But a Star Venom, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a dart pipe is 6 and inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target and the attack sequence ends, do not make a wound or save roll. So this is for the dart pipe. This is a Chameleon Skink's dart pipe. And it does have 2 attacks. You're really fishing for those 6s. Now, this really only works well when you're talking about a large unit of these. If you've got 5, 10, up to 20 Chameleon Skinks, and you're rolling for those 6s, then you can start doing some damage. If you're only rolling 2 dice, looking for a 6, generally you're going to be disappointed. In fact, the stat lines for this unit are not that impressive, to be honest. If you're ambushing in, you're not even going to get to use the Meteoric Javelin. But assuming they're all in range, assuming you can charge and melee, you want to see how much their average damage is going to be? Are you ready? Bam! Yeah. 1.17 average damage here against a 4-up save. And that is all of those stat profiles in shooting and in melee. So, not that impressive, maybe there's some ways to buff it up. I'm going to give you a hint. There's not. Um, so this warband is not going to be doing damage. The 4 wounds here are really not that tough. It's a 5-up save, nothing special. So I'm not really seeing anything here that's blowing me away other than that Chameleon Ambush. But let's scroll down. There's some interesting things here. Look at the keywords here. So the keywords that I want to focus on are Coalesced Thunder Lizard. So this warband is keyworded to Coalesced and Thunder Lizard, which is interesting. Now you can take them in any subfaction, but you're basically not going to get to buff anything in those subfactions. You're not going to get any buffs in those subfactions because a lot of things are keyworded to those specific subfactions. Like if we look at the Fangs of Sotek, a lot of these things are Fangs of Sotek Hero, Fangs of Sotek Skinks. You have to have that sub-faction keyword, and when they've already been given one, you can't change it. So I'm thinking that they want this unit played in Coalesced Thunder Lizard. I'm not really seeing it. There's nothing on this Warscroll so far that's showing me anything useful in Thunder Lizards. We don't have a ambush in Thunder Lizards, so maybe that's where this kind of slot into that role as an ambushing. We can take Chameleon Skinks and Thunder Lizards, so I don't really see an added benefit to this. A unit of 5 Chameleon Skinks is going to do more damage than this and have a better save if you drop them in cover. So far, I'm not too impressed. Another thing I wanted to look at was this points value. Look at this. 225. Is there anything else in Age of Sigmar that has a 5-point incremental on their point cost? I can't think of anything. I don't know anything that costs 5 points. So if you include this unit in your list right now, you're basically wasting 5 points because you can never close that gap between 225 and 230. So the unit might as well be 230. Maybe it'll help you fish for like a triumph or something if you take this as kind of your last few points here. It does say in here that is a unique unit, and you take it as a whole set, but they are separate units. So these 4 Starblood Stalkers are a separate unit, but they're taken together with the 2 heroes. So unfortunately, that will kind of take up a leader slot, but it does count as 1 unit, so not too bad. It's only 1 drop. You get 2 heroes there, and you get the 4 guys. But let's scroll down. Let's see what else we can figure out about these guys. We've got the Skink Priest here, and this Skink Priest, it has the same kind of weapon stat lines as the normal Skink Priest. Its staff actually weirdly does D3 damage instead of just 1, which is in melee, which is kind of nice. But overall, I think it's about the same. Its abilities here in your hero phase, you pick 1 friendly Skink unit wholly within 12 of this model and roll a dice add 1 to the roll if the unit you pick is Starblood Stalker. So here's his prayer that's going off. Instead of on a 3, it'll be on a 2 if you apply it to the Stalkers. But remember, this is in the hero phase. So if you're deep striking this warband, you're not going to be able to do this until they're on the table. So you won't be able, you'll deep strike them in. You have to wait till your next hero phase to actually apply any buffs. So that's kind of that's not ideal. On a 3-up until your next hero phase, that unit can run and still shoot and or charge in the same turn, and you can add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target that unit. So this is the same Star Priest prayer or buff. I guess it's just an ability. It's not necessarily a prayer that the Star Priest has. It will go off on a 2 on your Starblood Stalkers, but for something not doing very much damage at all, what good is run and still shoot and charge? So if you're looking to bring a Star Priest and you just need a couple extra bodies, this is one way you can get it. A normal Star Priest is only 70 points, though, so you're paying quite a premium for him. His command abilities, Herald of the Old Ones, same as the other one. you pick one friendly Skink unit wholly within 18 of that model, and you add one of their hit rolls. If you pick the Starblood Stalkers, you get to use it without using a command point. So that's kind of nice. But again, this goes off in the hero phase, and you're likely keeping these guys off the board until you need them. So some weird synergies here that I'm not really understanding, where we have some buffs that go off even better or for free on the Starblood Stalkers, but yet the Starblood Stalkers we want to keep off the table until we put them into a deep strike somewhere. So let's pretend that we get these buffs off on Starblood Stalkers, run them, shoot, and charge. Now their damage is going to be doing like just awesome stuff, right? 225 points. I want to see that damage. No. Even with the +1 to hit, which is what he gives them, we're still looking at 1.49 damage versus a 4-up save. 1.5 damage. And that was just up from 1.17. So there's just so few attacks, and they're so terrible and without rend and stuff that these guys just aren't really doing a whole lot of damage. So for 225 points, I'm wanting to see a little bit more than 1.5 damage on a 4-up save. So let's keep going. We have one more hero to look at. This is the Saurus hero. Now, this is very similar to the Old Blood. In fact, he is keyworded Old Blood, if you see there. And a lot of the stats are very similar. The Warblade is the same. I think we get one more attack with this guy. Fearsome Jaws are the same. You will end up getting +1 jaw attacks because you're running it in Coalesce Thunder Lizard, so you'll have 1 extra jaw attack. It does have 7 wounds, which isn't bad, but only a 4-up save. The normal Old Blood has a 3-up save, so we're getting a little bit worse save for 1 extra attack on the Warblade. The Warblade does allow you to explode your 6s. So if you roll a 6 on that Celestite weapon, you'll score 2 hits instead of 1. Helps a little bit, but when there's no rend and there's just 1 damage, it's helping a little bit, but not a whole lot, to be honest. He does have an ability that friendly Starblood Stalker units have a bravery characteristics of 8, while they're wholly within 9 of this model. So that 8 will help some, as their bravery was 5. So until you lose the 2 that don't have the shields, you won't need to take a bravery test for those Starblood Stalkers. But there's only 4 of those guys anyway, so I'm not too worried about it as it is. He is missing the generic Old Blood command trait, so I kind of wish I'd seen that here so that you could run this unit and you could replace the usability of the Old Blood, the Star Priest, and then just have the extra guys as filler. Because then you would start getting to about the same number of points. The Old Blood is 110. Star Priest is 70. So that'd be 180 versus 225, and you're getting that deep strike. That might be worth it. But without that command ability and with a worse save, I'm not sure that this guy is really pulling his weight. Overall, we're looking at 16 wounds on anywhere from a 4-up to a 5-up to a 6-up or a 5-up save. So you're getting a decent number of wounds, but I don't know. I'm not seeing anything in here that I would really love to take this unit as. If it wasn't keyworded Coalescent Thunder Lizards, I would have taken. Let's clarify that. I might have taken this in like a Fangs of Sotek list, because if I could deep strike my big unit of Chameleon Skinks anywhere on the board and also put these heroes down, so that I could fire off that Fangs of Sotek command ability, so that they could shoot and retreat. Then all of a sudden I've got something that's useful, because a lot of times I don't want to have to teleport a hero to go support those Chameleon Skinks. I'm teleporting my Salamanders or something else. So if I could teleport this unit in and use their hero role to fire off that Fangs of Sotek command ability, then this would be useful. But since you can't do that because they're already keyworded Coalescent Thunder Lizards, I'm not taking them too often in Fangs of Sotek, I don't think. It looks like they were wanting to be taken in Coalescent Thunder Lizards, and I'm not really sure they have a role. They can provide that deep strike, the ambush, anywhere on the board, but for 225 points, I think I would rather just have the straight up chameleon skinks to fulfill that role. You can fit 2 units of chameleon skinks in, and you're still saving you some points cost here, and it'll do more damage. Oh, I forgot to show the added damage. Here's the damage once we add the Saurus in. And the Saurus will actually do just about as much damage as everybody else will. So when we were looking at the Starblood Stalkers with their +1 to hit, 1.5, and the Saurus is doing about 1 3/4 damage versus a 4-up save. Once we add in the Priest, his melee and shooting, and the Saurus, we're looking at almost about 4 damage from 225 points. So not the best damage output for points costs. I think I'd rather slot in a Carnosaur for 230. That's what the old blood on Carnosaur is, 230, and this unit is basically 230. A Scarvan on Carnosaur is 210. A Bastiladon is 220. A Stegodon is 240. So a few more points, but I think it's well worth it. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I wanted this unit to be interesting and kind of usable, but they had to go in and throw in that Coalesced and Thunder Lizard keyword on this so that we can't use it in any other sub-faction. I don't understand that. Maybe it has something to do with the lore. I don't really read lore. Shh, don't tell anybody. So I don't know, guys. Let me know if y'all come up with any combinations for the Starblood Stalkers in our warband. Is there something I'm missing here? Let me know if there's some hidden tech. You guys are the best at finding out and leaving in the comments some things that are interesting and fun ways to use our units. All right, guys. Catch y'all later.